Good evening, Donovan. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. Well, I thought it'd be pretty awesome to take this opportunity to interview you. We have a little over a week at this point before the actual election takes place on November 8th. And so I feel, I'm D, we'll just leave it at that, that it's important that people just get to hear some other things that maybe they haven't heard from you before. You get to answer some questions that may help others as far as when they are going to the polls to vote.
Vote for
So,
Donovan. If you're
right,
vote
obviously,
for Donovan.
no doubt, vote for Donovan.
So,
Just in general, how are you feeling now with the campaign so far? Are you suffering from some fatigue? You excited? What's going on?
well, man, I'm going to be so glad when this is over. And, people think that, when you're a candidate and you run for office, it's like, oh, it's no big deal. It is very exhausting. There's a lot of stuff that you got to do. As everybody knows, I still do my radio show. I still do the video show. I still go to events, and you got to be here, there, everywhere, and it's all encompassing. And we started this campaign 4 months ago, and from the time that we started, and what people don't understand is other candidates, this is not student government. This is not student government. You have to wake up, eat, breathe. I mean, it's everything that you do every day. I mean, I don't have a social life. Other than when, one of my outlets is the radio show, so I can kind of go out and meet people and things like that. But it's very tiring. Not that I'm complaining. Like I said, it is part of the process, and I like what I'm doing. I think I'm making a positive impact. And again, we have a week to go, and I'm just kind of glad that there's a week to go. So.
Okay, so let me ask you regarding this campaign season and the last time you ran for city council, which one do you find most important and why, or are they the same?
Well, pretty much they're the same because we elected in the recall election a person who's been sitting on that seat for 2 years and hasn't done anything. And if you've been following my page and if you've been going to some of the events where me and Mrs. Jimson are there, she willingly admits she didn't have any ideas. Everything was attributed to me. And so I'm a little disappointed at the fact that, here you are, this person, I'm a fighter, and she's saying all these other things. It all sounds nice, but she isn't solving any problems. I think people want people that are going to solve their problems. And when I say I'm not talking about their personal problems, their, spouse problems, oh, can't stand my kids. I'm talking about problems in the community. And, what are some of the problems in my community? I've been saying it since I've arrived on the scene. The water problem. If we solve that water problem, it opens up a whole treasure trove of opportunities over here. We didn't have crosswalks. We didn't have the Adrian Mitchell. I mean, just little things. We didn't have sidewalks. Just things that you can solve. It's not that hard. You can get it done. We're working with the mod. I've been working with the city staff. I mean, all these things that you can do. This lady's been on that seat for 2 years, and don't get me wrong. She's a nice lady. I've worked with her for those 2 years. I've given her a lot of great ideas that I had to go through her to get them done because she is the representative. But it's just so disappointing when you hear somebody that I'm a champion and I'm a fighter and I was on the school board. Why do these school board people keep coming into politics and they don't know what they're doing? Yuxtin Gutierrez, he's a teacher. What's he done but take Highland Fairview money and whatever he's doing? You got all these people that cross over. Oh, I was on the school board. That doesn't make you a qualified candidate to solve problems here. This is not student government. What we do here affects people's lives. And, I'm a regular person like anybody out there watching this video. I go to city staff. I said, Ahmad, what do I need to do? I looked at the ledger. I looked at what we have. We don't have any money. We don't have these things. But if I can get these little things solved, they won't become big things. And people appreciate it because they see that the neighborhood is getting better. And that's why it just amazes me after 2 years since the recall that this lady, people come on my door and say, Donovan, I got a problem. I need you to fix this. I just don't get it.
So speaking of which, for those who are follow your website, News from the Edgemont, recently you've posted some sort of a letter. I think it was from the district attorney,
Right.
talking about a case of something that is unfolding. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. That case, if you read the document, I had to redact the document because this is an ongoing investigation. Now, everybody who's been following me for the last 2 years just like MV Gordy does, I get documents, public documents, and I put them out there. Now remember, I've always said this, I do not bluff. Now, Victoria Baca was involved in an embezzlement scheme where she tried to hold the lady. I mean, everything that I've put up has come true. Mm-hmm. You know, you can spin it all you want, but facts are facts. So I'm glad you alleged to that document. A lot of people out there are saying that that document is fake. If you go to the Moreno Valley Police Department and you ask about that particular document, they will say the exact thing I'm going to say right now. We cannot comment on an ongoing investigation. This investigation is ongoing. What is it about? Mm-hmm. I can't really go into that, but I can tell you it's not about Victoria Baca. I can tell you that. So
okay.
It's a very serious case, because if it wasn't, the DA would not have referred it back to the Moreno Valley Police Department to investigate it. And then we're going to wait for their conclusions, and then we'll see to that. But here's what I want to say, and that's why I wrote this. It is very, very important that we elect the right person to represent us in this district, or we might have a resignation happen. We might have to appoint somebody that we don't want to appoint. I mean, this is a serious thing here, and it can lead into a lot of different things. And please look at the right candidate, and that's Misty and Felipe over there. So again, animal shelter, I haven't forgot about that either. So, but that's how serious this case is. And so, with this particular case, it was that document was dated August 25th. So this investigation has been going on for a while now. And I'm going to tell you this: we have a representative that doesn't even know what is going on. And how did I get involved in that case? Is because once again, residents have come to me and said, you need to look into this.
Wow.
So.
Okay, well, let me ask you regarding that. Why should voters care about what's unfolding regarding that document?
Well, you should care about anything that's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars.
Wow.
And I mean, you know, even a light pole, like I said, we recently started buying these poles from Edison. How much money is that going to cost us? The bottom line is everything, there's a cost to it. And in this neighborhood, a lot of our money, property tax, and this is why I'm involved, is I found out that after 20-something years of paying property tax, instead of that money being put in escrow because they can't do anything because of the water problem, even though I'm not on that water system, but when you're not from the city and you're zoned in the Edgemont area, they figure, oh, it's Edgemont, don't do nothing there. And I can understand them saying, well, we were told not to do nothing there. But the fact is, by law, that money should have been escrow so that they can do the repairs. Mm-hmm. And they haven't been doing that. And I've been using the law to my advantage to get things that I want done. But when it costs me money and money that I'm paying, I want my neighborhood to be just like everybody else's neighborhood. And I don't think it's fair that you're taking my money for the benefit of District 2, the benefit of District 3, and all the other districts. Edgemont, yeah, we have our problems, but what about the 400 homes that are on the Eastern Municipal Water problem? So these people need to care, because all these lawsuits and everything that Victoria Baca has cost us, this could cost us a lot of money in litigation. So you should care, because that's money that we can use for our children. We can use for amenities for the citizens, not just children. We can make a youth center. We can build things for the citizens rather than everything for a developer. So.
Okay, now I want to touch on something that's sort of like, well, let's just call a spade, shall we? Hypocrisy. Okay. There is a group, I believe it's called Represent Us. Now, this group...
I'm a member of Represent Us.
You're okay, that I do know.
Okay.
You're a part of a group called Represent Us, and correct me if I'm wrong, basically it's holding public officials accountable.
Right.
Basically saying, I'm paraphrasing, we voted for you, now represent us, do the will of the people. Now, I do notice that particular group is supporting LaDonna, or some in that group.
Right.
They are supporting LaDonna.
Yeah, so she has
some long-term friends. Mm-hmm. So explain that to me, since you are part of this group. How do you say, please represent us, but then you support a person who has not really been representing you because they essentially lied or did not disclose their criminal background? So how does that gel?
That's a good question, and it is a enigma.
Okay.
How people could sit up here and be like, well, it doesn't matter, that was 25 years ago. And don't be wrong, that is a great story, but she did run on transparency and honesty. We didn't get that. Now, that's my beef with her. Now, did I vote for LaDonna Jensen? No, I did not. But you got to remember, she has her friends, and she's relying on her friends to protect her at all costs, no matter what she's done. I mean, and everybody has a great story, but I believe if you can sit up there and ask during the recall election and ask Victoria Baca to step down from a seat, and Victoria Baca wasn't convicted of anything at that particular crime, and I missed her on that last case I tried to get her on, but I think that's hypocritical to do that. But I don't blame people for wanting to defend their friends, but see, that's one of the problems that I've been saying for how many years now? 2 years now, of why we are in the situation that we're in, because we're electing our friends. And because that's your friend, you don't see that this person might not be qualified for this job because, oh, that's my friend, I want to say anything, whatever the deal is. Now, I'm a member of Represent Us, and no, I'm not a bank robber. I don't have a criminal background. But I can say this, and I honestly believe this. If it had come out that I was a bank robber, I guarantee you they would have told me to get up off of that seat right now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, people could say, well, oh, that's a racist comment. That's just the way it is. I mean, I'm a black man, and when I ran, what was one of the first couple of things they threw at me? I wasn't in the military. I'm not paying child support. I've got kids all over the place. Oh, I've been in jail. I mean, every negative stereotype of a black man was used against me. But so if it would have came out that I was a bank robber, I would have been run out of town, literally. And that's just my opinion. But again, I can't tell people what to do, but we have to stop electing our friends. And like I said, me and LaDonna, when I say we're friends, I mean, I know the lady, we work together, I've helped her, do what she's got to do until it was revealed she was a bank robber. And I don't support people that do things like that because I think there's a conflict of interest, in my opinion. You're not a leader to look up to. In this election, you have a choice between a former bank robber and Victoria Baca, who has some issues of her own that is known. And you got a veteran and somebody who's actually from Moreno Valley. To me, the choice is clear. If you're an ethical person, the choice is clear. Mm-hmm. Vote for somebody who legitimately is getting things done. And the only person that I see in District 1 race is myself, because nobody could come up and say, oh, well, I got this done, I got that done. You've got the person that is holding the seat right now and the person that used to hold the seat. Combined, they can't say anything that they've accomplished in this district. Straight
wow.
up.
So then if I can kind of paraphrase, Represent Us wants elected officials to represent us, quote unquote, unless it's their friends who may have a questionable background.
You said that, I didn't, but you're pretty much, that is the message that is being portrayed, because I guess Represent Us, and I'm a member, don't get me wrong, and the reason I'm a member is I want big money out of local politics.
Okay.
So that's why I'm a member. But when it comes to those other things, I'm totally, that's, again, to me, it is very hypocritical to sit there and say, well, we want honest government, but you're going to support a woman who wasn't honest when she ran for the seat to begin with.
Right.
So that's
okay.
just my opinion.
All right, so moving right along here, what is the one thing that you think voters should know when they're in that voting booth? What is the one pertinent piece of information they should take with them in order to make an informed decision?
Okay, I want everybody to remember this. This is not a recall election. This is a 4-year term. 2 years, this person has sat on the dais and has voted at least 300 and something times in regards to the Highland Fairview candidates that sit on the dais with her. When you're sitting in that booth, just like Pastor Don says, you really want to pray about it, or you should have prayed before you got into the booth, but you really want to think about this. Who is going to get things done in the district? I mean, who's going to solve these problems? You can't keep kicking these problems down the road in this district, because it's going to implode eventually. And do you want it to implode now, or do you want it to implode later? Of course you want it later, but the good chances are with things that are going the way they are, it's going to happen soon. and you want somebody, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm a fighter and I will fight for you. I'm not going to say all that bullcrap. I'm going to say, look at my record, look what I've done as a citizen. Now, what could I do if I had that seat? And if you're tired of Edgemont looking the way it is, being the embarrassment of the city, even though it's one of the oldest parts of the city, then you need to sit there and really ask yourself, who could really do this job? Can Chris Baca do it? No. Can Victoria Baca do it? She had her chance. She blew it. LaDonna Jimson, can she do it? She's been on there for 2 years, and she admittedly said, I wait for the residents to come to me and tell me what I need to do, and then I facilitate it. Facilitating is nothing more than a middle person that says, you come here, and you guys work it out. I brought them together. That person doesn't solve problems. We need somebody that's going to solve problems. And I live in Edgemont, so I have a vested interest here. And Edgemont is a third of the first district, okay? And I know that it isn't the whole district, but we have a serious problem here, And I don't think anybody out there, when you're in that voting booth, I want you to think about that. This is the gold mine we're sitting on if we can solve the problem. Now, who is going to do that? Who is brave enough to pull the trigger? I mean, we built a super warehouse on the east end of the city, and we were saying, we can't let the few people stop the progress of the many. Shouldn't that be the same saying over here? The few people that have shares or whatever, I mean, let's solve this problem, because eventually, when it comes to the water problem here, eventually, if it's not fixed and fixed soon, the city's going to come in here anyway. And this problem has been counting up. It ain't getting any better. It's getting worse. What could have been fixed at $8 million 12 years ago is now at $32 million right now. And if that pump at that water company breaks, the last pump they have, the city's going to have to come in here anyway at $32 million. And I have a solution to fix the problem. So, the people really have to think about that. They really have to think about it, because it's that important. We're in the 21st century, and we have a Flint, Michigan problem right here in Moreno Valley. And yet, these people talk about, I'm a fighter, I represent. Well, tackle the hard problems. Anybody could go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting and take pictures with all the dignitaries. Nobody wants all that. Not here. Not in my neighborhood. We want some sidewalks. We're getting a high-tech school built after 50, 60 years, finally, but the kids have no sidewalks to walk to that high-tech school. That doesn't make any sense. But you don't see them talking about that. They're not talking about expanding the districts. We have a growing city. Nobody's talking about that. It's the same people with a different face, and that's what I've been talking about.
Okay, so I have a multiple choice question for you.
Okay.
It is said that most people who run for public office of some kind are either running for A, power, B, prestige, C, money, or let's say D, other. Why are you running?
I'm running for other, and I'm going to tell you why. I was in the United States Air Force, so I already have prestige. What was the second one you said?
Power.
Power. I've seen what power can do in its worst form. Not very good. I'm not interested in power. I live in Edgemont. If I was interested in power, I would have bought me a 7-room home up in Menifee or someplace like that, and I want to keep up with the Joneses. If you really know me, and if you've been to my house, I am a very humble person, and I'm very content with what I have, because in my faith, what I believe, there ain't no mansions in heaven. You don't need a mansion if you made it to heaven. I mean, you're up there. So I'm a very simple person. And even if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't want to go to heaven, because I'm making heaven right here. I mean, that's just the way I think.
Right.
Okay, I can't speak for anybody else. But I'm a very humble person, so I don't need the power. And what was the third thing?
Money.
Now, if it was a money thing, I believe Ito would have brought me a white envelope a long time ago. But I think that him as a businessman, he realizes, and a lot of these interests out here realize, that I can't be bought because my house is not in foreclosure via Victoria Baca. When she first got involved in all this stuff, she had a $17,000, it's all public record, $17,000 in behind, and then she starts to work for Highland Fairview. Problem solved. I'm not a former bank robber. I don't have a need for money, because anything that I've got, I've earned. And all the money in the world you can have, you're still not going to be happy. And I'm going to give you a better example. 2 years ago, a man named Luke Fuller ran for city council in District 2. He took Highland Fairview money. Nobody's seen Luke Fuller since. But then again, he was a police officer. It's unusual for, it's not unusual for a cop to take some money. But that's just my opinion. But we haven't seen Luke Fuller since. And all these people that are on the take, look what's going on with Jesse Molina and Chris Baca. They look, supposedly they don't get the white envelope, which is what the Highland Fairview employees are saying that they're upset about. And all this stuff is going on. So I'm not influenced by money, and I can't be bought. I'm lying. I'm lying.
Uh-oh.
To be honest, for $5 million, I will sell it. But nobody's going to offer me $5 million. But I do believe everybody has a price. But
so what is this other?
I'm running for the simple fact that I look at my neighborhood and I say, why don't we look like the rest of the city? We were the first part of the city. So the other is getting these things done that need to be done. I don't understand every time something that is beneficial for the city, like the light system. I understand why, but I'm just saying the light system, the camera system, anything that happens that we're all paying for as a district, Edgemont area gets left behind. It's like, okay, well, don't worry about that area. But you're taking our money and everybody else is getting it. That's why I fought for the camera system in the park over there, Adrian Mitchell Park. It's like, wait, what do you mean? There was no cameras over there. Miss Gibson didn't even have a clue, and I fought over there, and that's what I'm saying. All I want is our fair share. That's the other. I just want us to be treated fairly like the other districts and the other neighborhoods, and that's it. People say, well, Donovan, how do we get you out of politics? Just upgrade my neighborhood like it's supposed to be, and I'll be gone. You won't even hear from me. And the other is the animal shelter. That's a big problem that I have there. Like I said, you see my animals running around all crazy. But, we have a problem with that. And that's kind of unnecessary, too. But here's the funny thing, Dee. We did this almost a year ago Saturday. We did an interview like this 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's just ironic that we're doing this at the last stretch. And so, I just want to leave the people to think, really, really ask yourself, do we continue with people that have brought us 30 years? Because you have candidates that are saying, I've been in the community for 30 years and I've done all these great things. Okay, 30 years of these people, and they all came here together. That's why I keep talking about same people, different face. Okay, you brought us all this warehousing. Okay, that's great. But you didn't address the trucks. You see what I'm saying? They don't think about this stuff. So we need new leaders with new ideas that aren't afraid to dig us out of these problems. And what's that saying? The best way to get yourself out of a hole is to stop digging. And as long as we keep electing the same people that have been here for 30 years, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I love my mom to death, but that generation of people, they've had 30 years of leadership, and this is where we're at today. I think it's time that we have ethical, younger people step up and start leading us in the right way. I'm not against warehouses. Everybody knows that. They throw it in my face all the time. I'm from where that big warehouse is supposed to be. But as a logistical person, as I've said, you have to address the truckers. We don't have truck stops here. We don't have anything to address. The warehouses are going to fail if you don't address the truck infrastructure. You've got to do that. And nobody's talking about that. They don't want to talk about these ideas because they want the same old, same old. So if you want the same old, I'm telling you, you got to really think about the difference between these candidates.
So in a nutshell, let's say you got 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Why should the people of District 1 trust you with their vote?
Well, in 30 seconds, you don't even need 30 seconds to tell you that.
All right.
Because you should trust me with your vote it's deeds, not words. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. And I've done it. Ask any other candidate in District 1, what have they accomplished? Just have them say one accomplishment. Not one of them could come up with anything. And look around this district, especially in the Edgemont neighborhood. You don't even have to be from here, and you can say, why don't they have sidewalks? Why don't they have this? That's how problematic our problem is. But look at the other candidates and look at their accomplishments of what they've done in their own right, and not one of them can say anything. I don't know who this Mercado guy is coming out of the blue. I don't know who this Perez guy is. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The thing is, if you're gonna, the proof is in the pudding. Now, just imagine what I could do if I was on the council.
Well, you know what? You said a lot of awesome things. And one thing I will say, not just because we're friends, I do.
Friends.
Well, yeah, sometimes. Most of the time, we're not friends.
Okay.
Most of the time, I want to choke you.
Right.
But I do follow the blogs, quite a bit of them pertaining to Moreno Valley, even though some people say you don't even live in Moreno Valley.
Right.
That doesn't matter. And I don't see anybody doing what you're doing as far as getting on the camera, speaking in a raw format about what it is you want to do, the things you're passionate about as far as you live. So I would say basically my hat's off to you for doing that and having a genuine love for the place that you live and the people who you potentially want to serve. And even if you don't get on the seat, the city council, you still help the people of your district, and you've been doing that for 2 years. So kudos to you. You are an example, and a great example, I should say, and I really do hope you get elected because that's what the people of District 1 need. So,
well, I'm going to cut you off, but when this election is over and the votes are all counted, it's the will of the people that
absolutely
that's going to matter. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to do the hot seat radio show. We had 11,000 viewers last week, and
wow.
We're just growing. So if you guys think that I'm just going to go away, I'm not. I've been here for 39 years. I live in the Edgemont area. I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing a kitchen rebuild right now.
Yes, you are.
So I'm not going anywhere. And like I said, all I want is for District 1 to be treated fairly, and that we can get some decent representation and get people in there that are not talk about fighting. They're actually going to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to your point too about the talking about fighting, like I said, I do follow a lot of the blogs, and there's a lot of talking.
It's a lot of talk.
There's a lot of talking, a lot of criticizing, a lot of anger, but not a lot of action. So
exactly. And I'm from a thing that hey, if you're going to talk it, you're going to walk it. And like I said, I'm not afraid of anything. I mean, I'm not like Superman. I'm not saying that. But when you live in the situation that I'm living in, you would be upset. You would be pissed off. And to sit here and just complain, we've been doing that for 39 years. So I said, I got to get up and I got to do something. And I'm doing it.
And in closing, that reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. I'm paraphrasing, but it says, don't just get mad. Along with getting mad, take action.
Take action.
Otherwise, it's just you're mad.
You're just mad and talking.
Right.
So please, those listening to me, like I said, please vote for Donovan Sadiq. Like I said, it's deeds, not words. And like I said, all my signs have been torn down. It ain't like I'm the incumbent. Why are you tearing my signs down? Obviously, my opponents, they feel that I'm a significant threat for some reason. But like I said, the will of the people will be done. I'm not going anywhere. So I saved one sign. So that's what I can do.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Donovan.
Thanks.
Much success to you and good luck next week.
Yep. We'll see.
All right.
Donovan Sadiq.